On today's episode of The Front Row, we are at the studios of Lubbock Public Media, and our special guest is Kelsea Johnson, who is the Information Specialist at the Parks and Recreation Division of the City of Lubbock, and we're so grateful for her to be with us. Thank you for being with us, Kelsea.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So, you're involved with Parks and Recreation here in the city. For folks who don't know, what is that? What does that mean?
Right, so Parks and Recreation looks a little different for Lubbock. If you didn't know, we have over 80 public parks here in Lubbock. Not a lot of people know that. I didn't know that until I first started this job. And really, I didn't even think that we had a Parks and Recreation department until I started in the department as well. And so basically, what our main goals for the department are just to make park spaces and public park spaces available to our community, as well as being involved in our community and listening to what they have to say and making improvements around the city that best serves the public, things like that. So currently what we've done, we've just renovated 5 public parks this past fiscal year. And so we just did some playground updates. So took some old playground equipment out, put new ones in that's a little bit more enjoyable, a lot of it more accessible. So for example, at Mahon Park, that is a all-inclusive playground, and it has 2 gravity rails. So there's one that has a seat that you can, if your kiddo is wheelchair bound, you can bring them out and place them in the seat so that they can enjoy what it feels like to be on a swing, and a gravity rail much less. And then we have the bigger gravity rail that's for kiddos of all abilities, all ages. I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't try it out and almost fell, but I loved every second of it. So I can only imagine what those kiddos feel like when they go down that gravity rail. So it's a lot of fun, as well as some other elements that are just there to serve some of the populations that aren't better served. Like some of our kiddos that have some sensory issues, there's some sensory play elements that are in each and every one of our parks as well. So we just do our best to try to make all of our public park spaces accessible and available to all members of our community, because that's who we serve.
All right. I had no idea that we had 80 parks.
Right.
No clue. Wow.
And really, I want to say it's 83, if I'm not mistaken. I actually might be wrong on that specific number, but definitely over 80.
Wow, that's amazing. And I guess a lot of us just have the idea that these parks just maintain themselves and they exist and we use
wish.
them. Yeah, but I guess there actually is a huge thing to keep the parks updated and looking nice and safe.
Right.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have lots of park maintenance crews that they will go out there. We also have contracts with some mowing companies that they go out and mow our parks for them, because with over 80 parks, it's a little daunting for just one set of park maintenance. So we have contractors that go out and help upkeep some of the greenery and the landscape spaces, as well as fixing some of the problems that we may have some of our parks, like broken water fountains or things like that. So that's really what we're all about.
Well, I love talking to you about this. I just remember when my daughter was at Roscoe Wilson, every day after school, we were in Wagner Park, right across the street. So we have incredible memories of that park for growing up and for our childhood. And I know that sometimes the bands play in the summer in the parks. It's really beautiful. Let me ask very gently, pools in the parks. What is the latest on swimming available in the summer times?
So what we currently have are the newest splash pads that we just opened up, and those were a huge success in the community. Unfortunately, with our pools being closed due to maintenance and things like that, and we'll have to see how that progresses over the next couple of years. I don't really have much information on that, unfortunately. That's way over my head.
Well, I know. But with the summers getting hotter, I know it's just at the wrong time for there to be maintenance issues.
And unfortunately, the summers, especially here in this arid, dry climate, are just brutal. Yeah. But thankfully, it's a dry heat. So that's what all Lubbockites say. It's a dry heat, so we're good. But yeah, the splash pads are fantastic. They're not the end-all, be-all solution, but they are a great one to have. And the wonderful thing about them is the splash pads are completely all accessible. So regardless of what your abilities are as a person, whether you're a kiddo or an adult, I go out to the splash pads. Whenever we opened them, I was jealous. I was like, I want to go out there and splash around. It's fun. And especially, that creates those memories that you can have with your kiddos to go out there and say, oh, we went to the splash pad and things like that. And so those were such a huge success this year that we're trying and looking into the possibility of adding more, just because they're a fantastic option to have. The upkeep is a little bit easier, especially that we're discovering with the pool situation and things like that. But the community has had a great response to them, especially in the areas that we put them in. So we're all excited. We're all about splash pads, and so are the communities. So we love it.
Excellent. All right. Well, one of the events that you have coming up here just shortly is a big trunk or treat that is sponsored by Parks and Recreation. Tell us about it.
Right. So we have Trick or Treat Street at Safety City. We have it every year because Safety City is a federal grant opportunity that helps us run that program. And if you've never been to Safety City, I didn't even know that this thing existed again until I worked in this department. That Safety City is literally a small makeshift town. So it's a very small representation of Lubbock with like these little cinder block buildings everywhere. It has roads, it has the markings, it has road signs. So your kiddos can bring their bikes up there and can ride around, on normal operation hours. That you can bring your kiddos up there with their bikes. We also have pedal carts as well that are able to be rented, and they can literally ride their bike around or walk around this whole area while learning about the importance of pedestrian safety and traffic safety. And we also do field trips as well. So we've had a bunch of schools, elementary schools come out there, and we usually have LP&L out there to talk about downed power lines, what to do if you see one and not to touch them and things like that. And they also have a really, really cool demonstration that the kiddos absolutely love that involves hot dogs and balloons and I think like lettuce or like tree branches, wet and dry tree branches. It's a fantastic demonstration. So they do that. We also have Lubbock Police Department comes out and he gives his whole spiel. It's usually Officer Hamilton. He's fantastic as well. He's so much fun to talk to, and he's great with the kids. Explaining to them, hey, if you see a police officer, we're here to help you, things like that. So, and then we also have Lubbock Fire Rescue. They have their little firehouse that's out there that they opened up for field trips as well, just to teach kids about, hey, what to do in a fire. What do fire alarms look and sound like? What's the safest area to get to? How do you get out of a window? Who do you need to grab? What do you need to grab? Things like that. So Trick or Treat Street in particular, basically everybody forms a large line, and all of these local organizations, such as the ones I named, like LP&L, LPD will be out there, and City Bus will also be out there as well. And just all of these local organizations come out. They hand out candy as well as information for the parents. The kiddos get the fun stuff like the games and the activities and most importantly, the candy of all things. And then there's informational resources and lots of outreach potential for the parents.
Great. And where is this?
So Safety City is located at 4500 Avenue U. Clap Pool and Safety City share a parking lot together. So you can usually just Google Clap Pool and it'll take you directly there.
Right. Excellent. Well, that sounds like a blast.
It really is. It's a lot of fun, especially when you see the families come out in costumes and the kiddos in costumes. I'm usually in costume. I love dressing up and doing things like that. So we really invite our community to come out there, and it's just a way to get interaction with local organizations and communities that you may not have known otherwise.
And time and date?
So it'll be this Friday, October 25th, and the gates will open at 6 p.m. and we'll be there until 8 p.m.
Great. All right. This Friday, 6 to 8 p.m., the Parks and Recreation, their trunk or treat sounds so fantastic.
Yes, it's so much fun.
So while you're here, let me ask you to tease us just a little bit. You probably have some holiday stuff coming up in the break. Tell us just a little bit about that.
Of course. So with Thanksgiving coming, things kind of die down just a little bit, but that gives us plenty of planning opportunities for Santaland. Everybody loves Santaland, and we try to bring new elements to it every single year, just like Pumpkin Trail. We're always looking for new ways to expand and make Pumpkin Trail and Santaland the most memorable way that we can, because if you ask any family member about Pumpkin Trail or Santaland, specifically Santaland, because it's been now 68 years in the making, this is our 68th Santaland, you have generations of, oh, I took my kids to Santaland, so then they take their kids to Santaland and their kids, and it just goes on from there. And every year we try to bring a new element to Santaland just to make it more memorable and have fun with the community and lights and, most importantly, pictures with Santa.
Absolutely. Right. Wonderful. Well, we'll certainly look forward to that. So Kelsea Johnson is the Information Specialist for Parks and Recreation with the City of Lubbock. Thank you so much for your time today, and thanks for being our guest on the front row.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.